Hello. Hi, I'm Penney Douglas again. This is day 3 of Afraid to Fail at Homeschooling. My camera seems to be changing views all by itself. I wanted to come in a little bit early, a couple minutes early today instead of late, like I've been doing. I have been listening to some interesting teaching and new ways of thinking about teaching children, and so I have a lot of good stuff to share with you today. We're going to be talking about learning styles, and there are there are several different learning styles that have been identified. So I guess I'll just go ahead and start a little bit about learning styles because, okay, I want to do a more general, some thinking about general things like why would we want to homeschool? I know there's a lot of reasons, a lot of different reasons that people have for homeschooling. Here in the United States, one of the big reasons that I can think of, besides what I homeschooled from the very beginning. As soon as I heard about homeschooling, I decided that's what I wanted to do with my kids. I wanted them home with me. I wanted to spend time with them. I wanted to watch them grow up. I wanted to help them learn and watch them learn, and I wanted to be a part of all of that. And I did want to protect them from things that, as a teacher in the public school system, I saw things that I really didn't want my kids exposed to. I didn't want the bullying. My kids are tough enough without exposing them to abuse. And here in the United States, our curriculum has become based on Common Core, which people who aren't even educators came up with. And in Common Core, they take out all of the literature that is just for the enjoyment, for the things that you can learn from story, from great writers. They've taken a lot of those books out. They hardly read any classics in schools now that we all know and have in common because we've read these books that we have in common. This great literature from these great writers and great thinkers. They don't even teach those anymore. They don't even have that as part of the curriculum. And instead it's like technical reading and writing. And they want them to be able to read technical manuals. And that's where they're directing all of their instruction. And, there's a place for that, but that shouldn't be the whole thing. And the other things shouldn't be thrown out. And then in their literature recommendations, a lot of the books that they have the kids read are pornographic, and there's so much of that going into even the younger grades. They're trying to talk about things with children that they are just not ready for. That should not be the school's place to do it in the first place. Parents should be able to teach those things in the way that they see fit and at the time that they think is right. So all of that, there's a lot of reasons to homeschool your kids instead of sending them to a public school. Even private schools have to, they start to get regulated too by the government. And the masks and the vaccines and the fear that is being forced on children and over something that isn't even something that affects them, and it's all just an agenda. It's all political. And so those are some really good reasons to homeschool your kids, besides all the benefits of homeschooling. There's a lot of wonderful things that happen in the home, in the family, when you homeschool your kids. One of the big things is that we're able to unlock our child's full potential, and we can individualized, as I've talked about before. We can do what works for them as far as learning style, which I'll go into more a little bit later. And as far as their interests, their abilities, their talents, their gifts, we can just help them to hone their skills. We can give them the opportunity to spend a lot more time. If they're good on the piano, we can get those piano lessons for them, give them plenty of practice time, give them lots of opportunities to hear other people who play the piano well, just all kinds of, you can just tailor your curriculum to whatever your child needs when you homeschool. And they just can't do it in a classroom and in a public school where they're told what to teach. When I went to college to learn to be a teacher, I went back in the 80s, and in the early 80s to 85, and what was being taught for reading and reading instruction was whole language in the college that I went to. A lot of people really criticized that method of teaching, especially, language arts, and how to read, because it involved a lot of just atmosphere, environment, setting things up so that you immerse your child in learning about a certain topic. And I really liked that idea. And when I graduated from college, after being taught that way for a couple of years in our teaching methods classes, that professor was really amazing. I loved the ideas that we were able to observe, and then when I did student teaching, I had to, of course, just do what was already planned by my teacher, my host teacher. So it was just the reading books, the workbooks, the primers, the pre-primers, the primers, and all of that. And I just had to do what was already there, what I was told to do. And I couldn't do any of those fun, creative things that I had learned about in my college classes, to have them just do, like we would do word walls. I would surround. I couldn't do it in that classroom very well, but surround them with the names of the words written on a little paper, taped on whatever it was, like a guitar. I see a guitar over here. Write the word guitar on a little index card, or just a piece of a construction paper or something. Write guitar, tape it onto the guitar, and when your kids see that, they understand that those letters say guitar, and that's what it is. It's a guitar. Computer. Write the word computer. Write the word printer. I'm looking around at the things I see in here. Bookshelf. Whiteboard. Screen. Just write those words and put them up where they can see them. And then they start to associate those letters being put together in chunks, and those are words, and they can read them. They start reading very naturally. And I thought that was a great idea. But that's not really how the classes were set up in the elementary school that I taught in. And they just, it was all pretty traditional, kind of rigid. You just had to get through whatever reading curriculum they had picked out for you, whatever math book they had picked out for you. And, I added in little extra activities for math. I had the little teddy bear counters and had my kids count the, 3 plus 2, have 3 yellow ones and 2 blue ones.